If you ask a cop or a cop reporter down at your local newspaper, if you ask them about burglary, chances are they'll tell you the burglary is a lot more than just breaking into your neighbor's home and stealing a few of their trinkets and their TV sets. Burglary is like rape. It's really about violation. That's the thrill of burglary. People who do burglaries, they always do a lot of them because people get addicted to the thrill. Burglary is one of those things. There's a lot of really peculiar things about it. A lot of times when a burglar goes into your house, they'll leave a calling card. Sometimes that involves leaving certain bodily fluids in certain very prominent places in your home. That's in addition to whatever they took out of your house. If you look at a police report, there's actually a box for the things that a burglar did inside of your house. You just check them off. None of those things say, steal a TV set. But this is the video we're about to see here is the creepiest burglary video I've seen for a while. Give it a go and tell me if this guy's really motivated by lifting your stereo system.
Here's some frightening video of a creepy criminal. A home surveillance camera captures an intruder inside of a couple's home in Bucktown neighborhood, watching them while they were there asleep. Eyewitness News reporter Karen Jordan talked with that couple.
Jack McKercher and his girlfriend, Jordan Baranskis, did not know a man was lurking in their Bucktown home in the middle of the night until they couldn't figure out what happened to her purse.
We actually got in a little bit of an argument about it. You know, he thought for sure I must have just maybe left it at the restaurant the night before.
So Monday evening, the couple tried retracing their steps by scrolling through video recorded by one of McKercher's surveillance cameras, rewinding all the way to 3:30 Monday morning. What they saw terrified them.
I'm like, why are you at the top of the stairs wearing a white hoodie before we went to bed? She's like, I wasn't up top of the stairs. So that's when you kind of go a little bit flush and you freak out a little bit.
An intruder crept in through an unlocked door and for several minutes hovered over the couple who had fallen asleep on the couch. The suspect moved so slowly and quietly, he didn't disturb the couple's 2 dogs sleeping at their feet.
He stood there for about 5 minutes the first time, then walked away. We don't know what he went to go do, and then came back and just kind of hovered over us again for another 5 minutes.
The thief has been nicknamed the Creeper Ghost, believed to be responsible for other burglaries in the neighborhood. Some residents have posted images on social media catching the suspect riding through alleys on a bike and trying to break into homes. McKercher is hopeful that between stepped-up police patrols and a large presence of cameras in the neighborhood, he'll be caught soon.
Just be warned, if people come back and try to steal stuff like this, they're going to be on video.
Got ADT because I walked in on a burglary once. The physical damage was pretty bad. The emotional toll was even worse. Our daughter had nightmares. What that robber really took from us was our peace of mind.
After seeing that commercial, I couldn't help but think of Judge Olu Stevens down in Louisville, Kentucky. A couple of black people broke into the home of a young couple with a 3-year-old daughter, held them at gunpoint. I think they roughed them up a little bit before stealing whatever valuables they could get their hands on. When they were caught, when they were brought to trial, that took 2 years. The victims wrote a victim impact statement where the mom said, "Hey, my daughter's afraid of black people now, Judge." Judge did not like that. Do you remember this?
There's a victim impact statement here that bothers me, to be honest with you. Yes, it really troubles me. And I just have to read it in paragraph 6. I assume the victims in this case are white. Yes, and it troubles me greatly that this statement says, this incident has had the most impact on my daughter. She's in constant fear of black men. When out running errands, if we come across a black male, she holds me tight and begs me to leave. It has affected her relationships at school and relationship with our African American friends. Really? You don't have to answer for it, but I want to make that part of the record. I'm offended by that. I'm deeply offended by that. That they would be victimized by an individual and then express some kind of fear of all black men. I wonder if the perpetrator had been white. would they be in fear of white men? The answer would probably be no. I'm offended by that. It's not going to affect what happens here, but I want to make it part of the record, and perhaps you pass this on. I find this very offensive.
And certainly I understand the court's outrage there. Well, I mean, I guess I really don't, but...
Well, you understand.
I understand where you're coming from, Your Honor.
I understand exactly where I'm coming from.
Here's why we object to probation, Judge. But what we're really talking about here is that probation would unduly depreciate the seriousness of what happened. This was a home invasion. The victims were a husband, a wife, and a 3-year-old little girl. And
make no mistake about it, I voiced some outrage about a statement, a portion of that statement. But I'm also outraged that anyone would go into anyone else's home and commit a violent offense like this. That's outrageous also. This little girl has certainly been victimized, and she can't help the way that she feels. My exception is more with her parents, and they're accepting of that kind of mentality and that fostering of that, those kind of stereotypes. But I'm going to grant your motion today for probation. I know the combo's position. And in here, most times, I can't say for sure. I got to look at everything. But you commit an offense like this with a handgun, I'm going to send you to prison more times than not. I think the equities weigh in favor of you having an opportunity to redeem yourself.
One guy went to prison, the other guy got some probation. Luckily, it was not within the judge's power to send that little girl off to prison, or I believe she'd still be there. Despite the fact that black people commit burglary, like all other crimes of violence and crimes against property, wildly out of proportion, I don't think anyone's ever seen a black actor in a burglary commercial. You know, if you look at the crime statistics, the numbers on burglary aren't as wildly out of whack as the other crime numbers. Blacks are only 2 or 3 times more likely to commit a burglary than some other crimes. That's 200 or 300%. But even those numbers are strange because, I mean, when we look at a crime number, what we're looking at is what comes out at the end of the pipeline, right? So if somebody commits a crime, maybe they have drugs on them, or maybe there's some violence involved, and maybe there's a burglary. Very rarely do people plead guilty to all 3 of the charges. Most of the charges most of the cases don't go to trial, and if you don't go to trial, most of the cases are settled by tossing out a few of the so-called non-violent charges, or however the thing goes. The point is, you can be in a house, you can be breaking and entering, you can be burglarizing, you can be carrying a weapon, you can have drugs on you, and you can beat the hell out of the occupant. If that's the scenario, when it comes down to plea bargaining, I mean, 2 or 3 of those are going to get tossed out. And so we don't really get a good sense of the big scope of how much of this crime is really happening. Now we come to the creeper. Was his mission inside the house really to cart off the latest flat screen on his bicycle? Or was his mission to pick up a few trinkets, a few trophies from his latest case of violating the privacy, violating the lives of the white people who were in that house? Either way, maybe someday we'll catch him, and then we'll learn what made that black kid so angry.